Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Just before WrestleMania 41 kicked off, WWE announced that a mystery attack had taken backstage involving Bayley, which left the latter all bruised up. The attack seemingly kept her from competing alongside Lyra Valkyria against women's tag team champions Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez on the grandest stage of them all. With Bayley out of the match, fans have been wondering who would make it to WrestleMania and replace the role model as Lyra Valkyria's partner. While it is still uncertain if the match will happen or if the company will cut it, Triple H could drop a bombshell. The game could feature undisclosed footage of the assault made backstage, which would reveal the attacker who ended up taking those steps to make a name for herself. Triple H could reveal that Women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria was the one who unleashed an assault on her partner, turning her heel for the first time since her main roster move. Valkyria being announced as the attacker could further turn into a massive storyline with a potential feud between the two women being set for the next few weeks. Considering the attack, Triple H could take the title off the star to make headlines worldwide. Further, a tournament could then be announced to determine the new Women's Intercontinental Champion after the end of the show of shows. Reports on WWE's plans for Bayley's removal from WWE TV have surfaced the internet. The report stated that the role model was always planned to be removed from the match. However, who will replace her in the tag team match at WrestleMania is still a question. The report also added that there was sympathy for Bayley backstage, because her match at the grandest stage of them all got cancelled. Fans have now been waiting for the replacement to make it out to the ring, making things interesting. Considering the massive opportunity for the company to bring a surprise return, Triple H could bring back a massive name like Trish Stratus or Becky Lynch, who could end up being a nightmare for the champions. It is clear that the role model is not really injured, and that the star has just taken time off for another name to make a mark at the show of shows. Fans will now have to wait and see who WWE chooses as a replacement for one of the greatest female superstars in the history of the company. Ishan writes for the WWE vertical at Sportskeeda. While he is a finance student, Ishan is an avid pro wrestling fan, which has led him to pursue a career in sports journalism. Before joining Sportskeeda, Ishan worked for various renowned websites such as Give Me Sport and Fansided, and has nearly 3 years of experience. He relies only on credible sources like Cage Match when reporting on a topic. Ishan cross-checks his work multiple times to ensure it is factually correct. Ishan's favorite pro wrestler is Seth Rollins. He admires the visionary's never-give-up attitude and work ethic. In fact, it was the Shield's memorable WWE debut in 2012 that got him hooked on sports entertainment in the first place. Ishan would love to interview Rollins someday. The road to WrestleMania 41 just took a dark and unpredictable turn, one that could shake the very foundations of WWE's women's division. Bayley, the current WWE Women's Champion, has been on a red-hot run since her emotional Royal Rumble victory and subsequent title win at Elimination Chamber. But her journey has been marred by a series of mysterious backstage attacks, starting just weeks before Fastlane and escalating dangerously in recent weeks. Now, rumors are swirling that Triple H, WWE's chief content officer, is set to take center stage on an upcoming episode of SmackDown or Raw to expose the identity of the attacker in a live segment. And the bombshell doesn't stop there. According to sources close to creative, the attacker may be a top-tier superstar, possibly someone within Bayley's own inner circle, and there's a very real chance that they could be stripped of their championship as punishment. For months, Bayley has been the target of a shadowy saboteur. The assaults have ranged from backstage ambushes, personal locker room vandalism, and a particularly brutal chair attack that nearly forced her to relinquish the title just 2 weeks before WrestleMania. While she's insisted on fighting through the pain, fans have noted a pattern. Each attack happens just before a high-stakes match, always attempting to weaken her physically and mentally. Initially, fingers were pointed at damaged CTRL, the very faction Bayley once helped create and later turned her back on. But Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Kairi Sane have all denied involvement, even helping her once in a surprise tag match on SmackDown, though skeptics still aren't convinced. More recently, suspicion has shifted towards some of WWE's rising women's stars, most notably Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, and even Charlotte Flair, whose recent return and odd cryptic promos have only fanned the flames. Insiders say Triple H is furious about the direction this has taken, especially since Bayley's title reign has been overshadowed by chaos, and the women's division risks losing its prestige with constant interference. In a move that mirrors classic Authority-era storytelling, but with a modern twist, Triple H is expected to appear in a special in-ring segment to demand answers. A leaked internal memo suggests that surveillance footage and hidden audio from Bayley's dressing room area is the key to identifying the culprit. If the attacker is indeed a reigning champion or marquee superstar, Triple H could invoke the Code of Conduct clause recently added to WWE contracts, a storyline element introduced subtly in recent episodes. That clause gives management the right to strip a superstar of their title if they're found guilty of unsportsmanlike behavior or sabotage. The former WWE Women's Champion has unfinished business with Bayley. While the split from damaged CTRL was framed as mutual, there were signs of resentment. Io lost the title to Bayley under controversial circumstances, and her demeanor since has been quietly vengeful. Add to that the odd glances exchanged backstage, and the ambiguous promos about justice and rightful legacy, and you have motive, opportunity, and long-term storytelling potential. But here's the kicker. Io is currently one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. If Triple H reveals her as the attacker, she could be stripped of her title, sending shockwaves through the women's tag division, and possibly setting up a high-stakes Bayley vs. Io match at WrestleMania 41, with both reputation and retribution on the line. One rumor gaining traction in online forums is that the attacker may not be a current roster member at all. According to a Wrestling Observer leak, there's a pitch in creative involving a masked female figure revealed to be none other than Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks. While Mercedes has made waves in NJPW and AEW, her return to WWE has long been considered a when, not if. WrestleMania 41 could be the perfect place for her re-debut, especially if it involves an emotional betrayal of her former best friend and tag partner, Bayley. Imagine the moment. Triple H unmasking the attacker Liv, revealing Mercedes Moné, setting the crowd ablaze with shock and betrayal. The implications? Huge. Not only would it create an all-time memorable WrestleMania moment, but it would elevate Bayley's title run into legendary status through storytelling alone. Stripping a champion isn't unprecedented, but it's rare, and almost always a setup for something massive. If Io Sky or another reigning title holder is stripped, Triple H could announce a sudden death tournament at WrestleMania 41 to crown a new women's tag team champion. This would allow rising stars like Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, and Katana Chance and Kaden Carter to step into the spotlight. Alternatively, if the attacker is a top singles star, say Tiffany Stratton or Liv Morgan, a loss of title shot privileges could be enforced, rearranging the entire women's card for Mania. Bayley has fought through betrayal, injury, and personal demons over the past year. If this storyline leads to her finally unmasking her attacker, it will serve as a full-circle redemption story for one of WWE's most enduring superstars. Could Bayley herself be hiding something? Could the attacks be a long con, part of a deeper psychological angle where Bayley staged them to manipulate sympathy and maintain control of the championship? It's a long shot, but WWE has pulled off similar psychological swerves before. Whatever the outcome, Triple H's impending reveal could mark one of the most shocking pivots in recent WrestleMania history, a dramatic, high-stakes twist that reminds fans why we call it the show of shows. As WrestleMania 41 approaches, the question is no longer just who will walk out with the gold. It's who can Bayley trust? And will Triple H bring justice to the women's division? Get ready. The truth is coming. And in the world of WWE, the truth always comes with a price. Want me to turn this into a full promo script or add quote reactions from Bayley, Triple H, and other stars?